The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Let's give Daniel just a second to. Randy, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. How's it going?
Good, Randy. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well. I wasn't sure. I'm glad it's a couple minutes late. I had a hard time connecting. It somehow didn't go as easily as the trial run did. But
well, it's working now. We see you. We're all here. I know this is all very new to us. It is to me. So this is going to be, obviously, I think we'll have some, we may have some hiccups. It looks like we already had one, but as hopefully we do, we'll work through it. Randy, I'm going to, I'd like to kind of run this meeting as close to we do when we're all face to face in the council chambers. And so I'm going to turn it over to you. I know you don't see Jalinda's picture, but she is here and she's available. So Randy, I'll turn it over to you, and if you'd like, you can kind of pick it up at the the script that I provided you earlier today.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to clarify. So I am to read this chairman's script before we call to order, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to make sure we do have a quorum, Dave?
Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. Is Patsy online? Is there a secretary or attorney?
Yeah. Patsy's no longer with us. Lisa Day is our board secretary for this evening.
Right, and Randy, this is Anthony Garganese, city attorney. So I'm on with the board tonight.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. I appreciate you being here. And also, Lisa, welcome. I see your picture there. I'm still getting used to the software. The control pod here was blocking your picture, but I see now. Yeah, so Anthony, please, of course, if I start taking things into the ditch at all, just jump in anytime. David, you as well. Okay, so before we begin this evening's meeting, I'm compelled to read in a pandemic advisory due to the current situation we're in under COVID-19. So due to the COVID-19 pandemic emergency, this meeting will be held virtually by Communications Media Technology, CMT, pursuant to Executive Order number 20-69, issued by the Office of Governor Ron DeSantis on March 20th, 2020, which provide that municipalities may conduct meetings of their governing boards without having a quorum of its members present physically or at any specific location, and utilizing communications media technology such as telephonic or video conferencing, as provided by Section 120.54, subsection 5, paragraph B, part 2, Florida statutes. Special instructions for the public to attend and provide public comments during this meeting were attached to the agenda for this meeting and were posted outside City Hall and can be found on the city's official website at www.cityofcapecanaveral.org, where board agendas are published under the Public Records Laserfiche web link. The procedures for the public comment will be explained shortly. So now, following that announcement, I'd like to call to order of the City of Cape Canaveral's Community Appearance Board meeting of April 15th, 2020. Lisa, can you please call the roll? You might be muted.
There you go.
Now we're good.
Randy Wasserman.
Here.
Bob Nienstadt.
We may have lost Bob.
Okay. Elena Whitehead.
Here.
Jalinda Cordray.
Here.
Dave, do we need a fourth board member?
No, we only have 4 members right now, so we have 3 here, so I believe that's a quorum.
Okay.
I'm here.
I hear Bob now.
Is that Bob?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. So did you get all the preceding script about the pandemic advisory, or do I need to reread that?
Bob should have been.
Oh, I heard everything.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Okay, Lisa, I appreciate you calling the roll. We indeed have a quorum to proceed. So next I need to discuss the statement of proceedings here. So as the board endeavors to conduct a virtual meeting for the first time, we anticipate some hiccups along the way, but we will continue to improve and do better as we go. As chair, my job is to keep the agenda flowing while affording adequate public input. Before we get started, I want to mention that if you're listening by a phone, you'll not be able to provide public comment live by a telephone. You can only listen. However, there are alternative ways to provide written comments stated in the agenda. If you want to provide a live audio comment, you need to go to the webinar link shown on the agenda. There are additional instructions in the agenda about how to raise your hand to speak at appropriate times during the meeting when you are in the webinar. For the meeting to run efficiently, we should try not to talk over each other. Here are some guidelines. I will introduce each item and then ask staff to make a short presentation if required on the item. After which I'll ask each board member by name in alphabetical order to make their comments, and I shall speak last. I will then ask the organizer if there are any public comments. Once we have gone through the public comments, I will again ask each board member in the same order for any final comments. This should help reduce the amount of talking over each other. When it is time for public comment, I will ask staff if there are any previously submitted comments to be read into the record by them. These would be comments received prior to 4 p.m. today via either the city's online form, email submitted to the public meeting email address, or regular mail received at City Hall. Once all of those are read into the record by staff, I will ask staff if there are any webinar viewers who wish to comment live during the meeting. If you are a webinar viewer and you wish to comment live during the meeting, click on the hand icon near the upper right corner of your screen. Have your microphone turned on. Please be patient. If it all works as we expect, staff will unmute your microphone at the appropriate time. They will tell you that you are live and ask you to start with your name and address, and you can begin to speak. You will have 3 minutes to speak. Please use appropriate decorum. The board can then respond to your comments, and we will move on to the next commenter until all have been heard. So before I proceed, Lisa, if you could just give me if you could give me the order in which I would ask the board, so I can write that down. Is it by first name or last name alphabetically?
Yeah, I think that would be my last name. So I think it would be Jalinda, Bob, then Elena, and then yourself.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that brings us, Dave, to the point where we would normally be at the start of the agenda. Is there any way to swear in folks in this forum, or is that not necessary now?
Well, that's a good question. Anthony, do you want to respond to that one? I don't know if I have a quick answer.
Well, I don't usually do the CAB meetings, but the staff gets sworn in for this meeting, for these meetings?
Generally not. Randy, at the beginning of the meeting, will typically ask if anybody in the audience is here to speak or would like to speak. And at that point, there would be a mass swearing in of the...
well, we'll wait and see. If we have live public comments, we could see if the person wants to present evidence in the proceeding, and then we could swear them in.
Okay.
And then if you have written comments, Daniel's going to read written comments into the record. So it's basically a document piece of evidence.
Right. So did that answer your question, Randy? I think we'll just
It does.
Okay. All right.
It does, thanks. So at this point, I'll go ahead and move on to the items for discussion at today's meeting. The first item on the agenda is the approval of meeting minutes from January 22nd, 2020. It's hard to believe it's already been over 3 months since we last met. So I'm going to ask the board members if they have any particular comments, starting with Jolinda, regarding item number 1, the approval of the meeting minutes.
No, I'm good.
Any questions about the meeting minutes of the 22nd of January?
No, I make a
No.
motion we approve the meetings January 22nd.
Okay, we're going
I'll
to table
second
that for a moment. Okay, well,
Okay.
all right, you know what, it's been seconded, and so we have a motion to approve. That was Bob, and I'm sorry, who had seconded it for the record?
Jolinda.
Yolanda, okay. That's great. So we're going to just move on to Elena. Do you have any comments regarding the?
I don't know that I'm allowed to vote since I was not present at the last meeting. Can I vote?
Yes, you are permitted to vote.
Okay.
In tonight's minutes, the clerk will just put a notation that you were not present at that.
Okay, perfect.
Very good question, though. And I myself don't have any further questions regarding the minutes. Thank you, staff, as always, for putting them together. Are there any? So right now, I'm going to move. Well, it says no public comment required. Does that mean I still ask for public comment at this point?
No public comments required on the meeting minutes.
Okay. So I understand we cannot vote by voice, right? We have to call the roll. There's been a motion to accept the minutes and it's been seconded. So Lisa,
Lisa?
can you please call the roll?
So I have Bob firsting and Jolinda seconding it. Now for the roll call, Jolinda, Ray,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
accept the minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Bob Niedenstadt,
4,
Elena Whitehead,
4,
and Randy Wasserman.
For the minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to item number 2, which is some wall murals at 55 Monroe Avenue. This is the review and action on a level 2 application consistent with Article 3 of City Code, City of Cape Canaveral. City of Cape Canaveral is the applicant. Before we go any further, Dave, would you like to provide some presentational information regarding this item?
Yeah, thank you, Randy. I definitely would. What we're going to do is we're going to have a PowerPoint presentation very similar to what we do at our mobile meeting. And I'm going to attempt to run that from here. So let's see here if I can figure this out. Daniel, have you given me control?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to, before we get into let's just get into the slideshow first and we'll kind of work our way back to the written report. As you can see from here, this is a aerial view of Canaveral City Park, which I'm sure we're all very, very familiar with. The proposed murals are going to be located on these 3 structures that are shown here in the aerial. And we'll refer to these as the northern can you all see my cursor moving around?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. That's awesome. This particular structure here, we're going to refer to as the north dugout. We're going to refer to this one as the scorekeeper's booth. And we'll refer to this one as the east dugout. So you can see that that's what's being proposed this evening. We're going to be discussing. Okay, next slide. And this is I'll call it a street level photo of these same three structures. We're kind of looking in a southwest direction here from the intersection. Again, the scorekeeper's booth is, I'll call it the one right in front of us. It's more of a two-story structure. The one to the left of that is the east dugout, and the one to the right of that, you can see kind of right down in this area is the north dugout. So the north and the dugout structures are fairly small. Okay, let's move on then. Okay, here is the up close of the north dugout. Kind of giving you an indication of the of what the the size that we're talking about. Here is the up close of the scorekeeper's booth and the same of the dugout. Okay, let's jump right into it. Here is the mural of the proposed mural on the scorekeeper's booth. You can see that it is certainly ocean-based or ocean-themed. And this is a photo or a slide of what the entire structure is going to look like. And if you can imagine, you see 4 panels, if you will. And those will be located on the 4 sides of the scorekeeper's booth. So each one of those panels will be on one side of the booth. Okay, here's the east dugout with the proposed mural. And again, here is a rendering of the 3 sides of the dugout, what that will look like. So you have a sense of what the entire, all 3 of the murals will look like.
Oh, sorry.
All right, next is the north dugout, which again is certainly themed with our local environment. And there is a the full photo of
David, there's a lot of background noise. I think maybe there's a mute button for board members to mute their microphone if they're not speaking. Maybe that might help with some of the background.
Yeah, hey, board members, if you don't have your mute button on, probably a good thing to do. There is a lot of feedback. So I guess there it goes. All right. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to read into the record highlights of the written staff report, which the board received last week. And then that'll conclude my presentation. Again, this is a level 2 application for the use of a wall mural at Canaveral City Park at 355 Monroe. Several of the existing structures located on site are proposed to house these murals, to include the 2 dugouts in the scorekeeper's building. The city's first commissioned mural, which was completed in 2019, is located at the City Recreational Complex on Taylor Avenue. And that did go to the Community Appearance Board, and I'm sure all of you remember that one. It was definitely Apollo based. I hope you all have had a chance to see that. It's right there by the City Recreation Building. It's just gorgeous. It really looks nice.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. The proposed murals are a continuation of this effort to enhance the cultural landscape through the city's civic scenery program. As established in the city code, murals are not allowed unless the Community Appearance Board gives their approval. And that's really what we're here doing this evening. Section 2236 of the city code spells out a number of criteria. I think there's 6 criteria, and those are included in your packet, your agenda packet. And it's really incumbent on the board to look at what is being proposed in the mural and seeing if it is consistent and complementary of its surroundings and the community as a whole. The attached application does include a lot of background information. It includes a lot of photos, both of what the renderings that are the murals that are being proposed, as well as the surrounding area. And over the past several years, the Community Appearance Board has approved a number of wall murals to include the one that we were just talking about, which was done last year. And this is really just a continuation of it. So as the proposed mural does not constitute signage and is being forwarded for municipal purposes, staff is recommending that the Community Appearance Board grant a level 2 approval for the use of a wall mural as depicted in attachment 1 to this report on city property located at 355 Monroe Avenue. Mr. Chairman, that does conclude my presentation. If you have any specific questions, myself, and I believe there's a staff person, Molly Thomas, who's really spearheading this effort on behalf of the city. I believe she's in attendance as well. So if there's any questions, we'd be happy to respond. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dave. Excellent summary and presentation as always. I think if I'm going to stick to the script here, I'm going to ask first the board members in alphabetical order. I have a couple of questions or some clarifications, but I'd like to ask Jalinda if you have any questions for David.
No.
Thank you. Bob, any questions about the application?
No, I think the buildings look much better with the murals on them.
Thank you. Ilana?
No questions. I think they're beautiful.
Yeah, I share the same sentiment. I just have a couple of quick questions, David, for you or Molly. I understand that there was public input gathered when the mural designs were chosen, correct? There were several different depictions or possible depictions, and then the public voted electronically through the website.
Yeah, and Molly, please jump in here. But yeah, that's my understanding as well, Randy. And also, I failed to mention that the murals, the proposed murals, did go to the Cultural and Leisure Services Advisory Board, and they held a meeting, and it was these specific murals that the Leisure Services Board recommended be chosen and move forward. So yes, there has been a process up to this point, and the public has certainly been involved.
Thank you. The only other question I had was, should the board approve a mural, these or otherwise, for these structures, the city's committed to maintaining their upkeep?
Randy, I'm not, is your question, is the city committed to the upkeep of these murals?
Correct. Yeah. So that, if they, become less, faded over time or start peeling or, something that we wouldn't want to see on a city building, is the city committed to going ahead and keeping the murals up?
Yeah, well, I can't speak on behalf of Gustavo, our Leisure Services Director, but what I can tell you is that this is a very big priority for the city. It is as you can see, what a huge difference these murals make. I hope you've had a chance to look at the one there on Taylor by the racquetball court. That is just quite a statement. And the city for a number of years has been all about in aesthetic improvements. and ways we can clean up and ways that we can make ourselves much more attractive. And this is certainly the next step in that. I have had a conversation with Gustavo about his interest in applying a, I don't want to call it a shellac, but there's anti-graffiti
Coding.
coating. Yes, thank you. That you can put on murals that really help, should there be graffiti in the future, that really helps clean that up. So I know Gustavo's looking at that right now. So yeah, I mean, yeah, the bottom line is we certainly wouldn't go to this effort if we're not going to maintain these properly. Molly, I don't know if if you're there, or B, if you have anything to add to that. Daniel, can you?
I'm here.
Oh, great.
You're doing such a good job. I was just going to let you go with it. Yeah, we are definitely committed to these murals, and the ones that come before and the ones that come after. And actually, as we move forward with the multi-generational facility, within the design itself, there are some spaces, empty spaces on the walls that are designed to incorporate public art opportunities. So there will be more to come when that particular project is finished. So yes, going forward, I believe that I can at least speak for the current administration, and that the murals will be well cared for and maintained to the best of our abilities, because they are an investment.
Excellent. Good to hear. Thank you. And I know that doesn't impart necessarily a decision point on today, but it's always just good to know, because I know in the past we've had, we've had discussions about, when a mural is no longer art, and that's a highly subjective thing, but I think if it's kept in good order, that's less of a question.
That's a good point. I would like to kind of piggyback on something Molly just mentioned about the multi-generational facility. As you all know, the MGF is going to be going just 100 feet to the west of these areas that are proposed for the murals, and we'll have staff there on a full-time basis. And so there's going to be a lot more oversight and a lot more monitoring. I think that'll go on as a result of that. So yeah, no, we're very committed to these, Randy.
Excellent. I wouldn't have expected otherwise, but I just wanted to double check and get that in the record too. So, okay, so there being no comments from the board members, and thank you, both David and Molly, for answering my questions. I think we have to see now if there's any public comments. So has there any previously submitted comments to be read into the record?
This is Daniel. I did a check of the public comments at cityofcapecanaveral.org email, which was set up for this purpose, and there were no comments through that. And I'm currently looking at the attendee list, and there is nobody with a hand raised at this moment. So I do not see anybody wishing to speak on public participation.
Well, Daniel, this is Anthony. The chair at least invite anybody that wants to speak on the item to please raise their hand by hitting the hand icon.
Yes, thank you, Anthony. So I'll now hereby invite any member of the public who is participating via webinar to raise their hand via the hand icon. You could do so in the next 10 seconds. Okay, so unless Daniel or Anthony thinks otherwise, I think that closes the public comment opportunity. And do I now hear any motion from the board members regarding this application?
I make a motion. Go ahead.
I move to approve the application.
I second it.
Okay, thank you very much. So there's been a motion made by
Excuse me, who seconded it?
Bob.
Okay.
A motion to approve item number 2, the wall murals at 325 Monroe Avenue. Has been motion been made to approve that, and it's been seconded. Lisa, can you please call the roll on this motion?
I sure can. Jalinda Cordray,
Okay, you want me to say yes or for, or what am I supposed to do in the Roberts rules?
Either is fine.
Okay. Yes, for.
okay. Bob Nienstadt,
For.
Elena Whitehead, and Randy Wasserman.
For the motion. Well,
Thank you.
thank you. So the motions are approved, and I appreciate everyone's hard work in preparing the very complete and thorough information, as well as the presentation. David and Molly, your input as well. Any other current activity or anything of note, David, now that we've gone through the items for discussion at the meeting?
Not at the moment. I guess all I can say is I appreciate everybody being flexible and participating in this evening. This is all, as I said earlier, this is all very new territory for all of us, and I think we're making it work, though. And but again, I do appreciate the involvement tonight. But no, not other than that, Randy. I think everything's pretty quiet at the moment.
Well, good to hear. Good to hear. There's a corner of the road that's a little quiet, given everything we're dealing with. And I second and definitely echo and all the above with regards to folks being able to come together and do this electronically. I'm not. I probably can't speak for everyone, but I've been teleworking straight since. Well, really almost the middle or latter part of, clearly the middle of last month, actually the early part of last month, now I think about it. So it's definitely been an adjustment. I know you all are having adjustments within your personal life, no doubt. Hopefully, you obviously, your friends, your family are all staying healthy and safe in this environment. We'll continue to do so, both board members and everyone involved, staff as well, in making this meeting happen. So, given that, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
I second it.
Okay, we had Ilana move to adjourn and Bob seconded. Anthony, can I just see if there's any objections, or do we need to call the roll on adjourning?
Yeah, if there are no objections, you can adjourn.
Okay, if no one objects in the next 5 seconds, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm gonna call the meeting adjourned at this point. Again, stay healthy, stay safe, both you and your loved ones and friends, and perhaps we'll meet this way again soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone.